Hey guys, Furum here, and today I will not be testing the MV Agusta F4 1000R. Rather, an unnamed friend in Purple Team has kindly recorded some races for me, as I do not have this bike. It is at a rank of 1358 with the tuning of 010-010 and in Pro Kits 5020. As you probably know, finding bike parts is not the easiest thing. So now for our first race, which is on Patagonia against mainly an M2 Special Edition. Now this bike, as with all bikes, starts up fairly quickly. Now, this is probably one of the most interesting bikes in the game. First of all, it was available for purchase for like 2,400 tokens. This is the first car that has only been available for purchase for I don't know how many updates, probably since some of the earliest bikes that cost credits or something. But yeah, this one costs about 2,400 tokens. And the second thing is, it is the king of Class C. It beats all C-Class cars by a good margin on pretty much every track. I believe it's every track, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's like a second faster than the Maserati Alfieri, the current car king of Class C. And it is faster at Max Pro than all B-Class vehicles, cars and bikes. When it's in Shockwave, of course, but still, that makes it extremely overpowered for its class, and it goes like 27 miles per hour faster than all other Class C cars when this bike is in Shockwave. That's crazy. Of course, you have to be able to control it, and as you've seen so far in this race, it is not the easiest bike to control. And forgive me if I say car instead of bike, it's a force of habit. Unfortunately, this bike is not the most stable. Here it just kind of randomly goes to the side and wrecks. Thankfully, we are far enough ahead of the other cars in this race that we're able to keep our first position and take the victory in this first race. So here we have beat an M2 Special Edition at rank 1320, and also we beat an ED Design Torque and a DS3 Racing, which are not nearly as good as these two vehicles. Now here we are meeting the same M2 Special Edition again, and well, this bike is not as fast as the M2 Special Edition at this rank. This bike can go about 252 miles per hour with this tuning, and a similarly ranked M2 Special Edition can go well over 260, so at least a 10 miles per hour difference. This allows you to beat the M2 Special Edition in those cases where, say, you get far ahead in the beginning, because this bike has better acceleration than that car. But once they pass you, there's not a whole lot you can do. Now, of course, you can take some turns better and stuff and get ahead, like we are here. However, if it is a very close race, it is often difficult to beat those M2 Special Editions. Now, this bike would probably be best with 010-00, 5050. Not 100% certain on this, but it would likely give a higher speed at a lower rank. But that is, of course, if you have the bike parts for that, which are not easy to find. So this M2 Special Edition has crept ahead of us. As you can see, he's not pulling away too fast, but it's fast enough that we're not going to be able to catch up and pass him before the finish line, because this is a one-lap race, and he has now crossed the line, and we are coming in not too far behind him, however. If you get this bike, I would probably recommend just going ahead and max proing it, since it is the C-Class king. It's not bad in multiplayer, certainly, but it's not especially great either. And in this race, we'll see how it does against some M2SEs, as well as an R8 e-tron Special Edition. Now, the thing is, if you get in races with M2SEs that are not, well, especially great drivers, you can beat them pretty much all of the time. The one behind us just wrecked, and his speed is not great enough, so he won't be able to catch up to us. It is a two-lap race, so if we make a mistake, it might happen. But likely this is going to be a second place race, because the R8 SE is so much faster, and the cars behind us are probably not going to be able to catch up. So you may have noticed this week, in the past week, my Asphalt 8 videos have been from other people. That's because, well, those are cars that I do not have. However, this coming week, I will be doing a Lamborghini Centenario video in Asphalt 8. I got this car because I did a preview of it on the Asphalt channel, and I got enough engines and tokens to upgrade it a pretty decent amount. So you can probably expect to see a couple videos on that car, one of them next week at some low, good multiplayer tune. Possibly even below the rank that you can win it at, just to see how it will do at that rank. I don't know, we'll see. I have not upgraded it much yet. So we're coming up to the end of the first lap. In second place, the R8 SE just gets further ahead, and the other cars get further behind, and we come in second position. Although we lost to that R8 SE, we did beat a much higher ranked M2 Special Edition. This race wasn't too close, but the next race on Munich certainly is. In this race, we're facing two M2 Special Editions, one lower ranked at 1338 and one higher ranked at 1408. Now at the beginning here, a bunch of people wreck on the train. I think everyone wrecks on the train, possibly, except one person. But we're able to get through because the bike is very narrow. That allows it to have an easier time getting next to trains and stuff like that. However, not all the time, as you can see here. Sometimes they really just pop out of nowhere. Now at this point, the race is really close because those two M2SEs are probably slightly faster. Maybe the lower ranked one is about the same speed. One of them got taken out by the train, and now we have this one right on our tail here. Thankfully, we managed to pick up a full supercharge and go up to 277 miles per hour. That is extremely fast for this rank, and if you're able to stay in supercharge, well, that M2SE is not going to catch up. As you can see, he has fallen quite a bit behind when we were using supercharge, and now he's catching up again. Thankfully, this bike drifts okay. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst either. Definitely better than the Ninja, and we come in first position. That M2SE wrecked not long before the finish line. Not sure on what exactly. Maybe the split, where you could go either left or right. Anyway, we beat him, the 1408, as well as the 1338. Now for a race on Nevada against the same 1338 M2SE, as well as an R8 e-tron Special Edition. You'll notice that the competition is almost the same in each race. You've usually got at least one M2 Special Edition, maybe an R8 e-tron Special Edition, and one or two lower cars, maybe beginner cars like the 4C, for example, in this race. So that seems to be what's happening in a lot of the races nowadays. So now for a little bit of Asphalt news. The Infinity Vision GT's R&D came out, and yes, it does have some free upgrades. So the no free upgrade thing was hopefully only for the Centenario. Since the Vision GT has free upgrades, we will probably not see a lack of free upgrades on anything but the best of cars. And the Centenario is the second best car in the game. Now, it's still bad, and obviously it's technically worse if they're on the best cars, because the best cars are the ones people want to go for, but I'm just saying that it's not going to filter down to the rest of the cars. Probably. We'll see what Gameloft is up to next update. So the R8 SE passed us about halfway through the first lap, which is kind of expected. I'm honestly surprised he didn't pass us earlier. Maybe he got hung up at the beginning or something. But anyway, we're in second position. The car behind is the M2 SE. He stays about the same amount behind, and we come in second place. Behind the R8 SE, but ahead of the M2 SE and that one other car. This seems to be a recurring trend. Now for a race on Alps against two R8 SEs, an M2 SE, and the new SLS AMG GT Coupe, or whatever it is. Now, going up this ramp is something interesting that is probably quite useful on this bike, because it allows you to get a supercharge right away in the race, which allows you to get, well, a higher speed than the M2 SE or whatever very early. I'm not 100% sure if the speed loss when going up the ramp balances it out or not. It's also shorter. I don't know, but it's something interesting to keep in mind when you're riding a bike. So there, the R8 SE knocks down the M2 SE, so we're in third position behind the two R8 SEs. Now, this is only a one-lap race, and the R8 SE wrecks when going into the tunnel, so now we're in second position. This is usually what you have to rely on to beat R8 SEs in lower vehicles, such as this one, them wrecking, because they're just so overpowered in pretty much every way that they're going to win pretty much all the time if they don't make mistakes. But we'll have to see how the Lamborghini Centenario competes. So we've come in second here, behind one R8 SE, but ahead of another one, and that same M2 SE from two previous races. Now for our final race, which is on Alps again against, well, not too much competition. We have an MP48 and a Donkervoort. And as you can see, this bike really does speed up quite quickly. Neither of those cars, which are some of the fastest accelerating cars in the game, were able to pass us in the beginning. So now it's time for my general review about this bike. It is quite a good bike overall. It has a ridiculous supercharge, and it is the C-Class King and faster than all B-Class vehicles, including the RX-8 Special Edition. So at Max Pro, yes, it's very good. At multiplayer tune, it's okay. It can beat some M2 SEs if you get far enough ahead of them in the beginning and don't have a problem later, so it's okay. But if you get this bike, you probably have other good multiplayer cars, so I would recommend Max Proing it and seeing how you can do in those C-Class events. So we have have left the Donkervoort and MP48 in the dust, as well as the 2 other cars in this race, and then we supercharged to the end of the first lap. As you might be able to imagine, they don't catch up in the second lap because they're, well, a lot slower. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 and Asphalt 9 content. And thank you very much to the person who supplied these races. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!